Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, Buna, Privyet, Mabuhay, and Jean Dobre. It's really, really good to be with you again, and I know you'll be very pleased and happy that you have joined us today because we have a very cool guest with us, and it's Sara Saleh, who is a digital marketing strategist. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you. Hello, salam alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi, Samia. Thank you for inviting me on today. I'm really,
Yes.
really happy to be here.
Oh, yay. I'm so happy to have you. And yes, Sarah, please go on and tell us more about who you are and what you do.
So yeah, my name's Sara Saleh. As you said, I'm a digital marketing strategist. We just had a little chat about this when we were just before we started recording about my feelings around introducing myself and my title these days because there's a lot of noise online around
Yeah.
digital marketing, being a digital marketer. What does it mean? So digital marketing, I primarily help online business owners, so service providers primarily, so coaches, course creators, service-based freelancers, with their marketing online. I specialize in email marketing,
Mm.
sales, conversion funnels, copywriting, community building, and lead generation. Now, I know they're all kind of buzzwords that are thrown around these days, but I help you basically get seen online and get more clients. That is the
Yeah.
crux of it at the end of it, and all the other stuff's all the kind of mechanics and things behind it. I started this particular journey in around 2020. So I like a lot of other people's stories. I was in a business. So I was in corporate for 10 years. I used to work in telecoms. I was in management consulting. I started out as an admin office girl, ripe old age of about 21, something like that. I got a job as a temp in an office, and then it was in a telecoms company. I was doing like bits of stuff. I told them I knew Excel and I didn't, and I used to use the help button and things like that. And I kind of basically worked my way up through the ranks. So within 4 years, I was working as a management consultant for
Yeah.
a firm in London, management consultancy, managing big, massive contracts, all this kind of stuff. And then I basically stopped and I gave up work to become a stay-at-home mum. My husband was like, "Look, you don't have to go back if you don't want to." I was like, "I really don't want to go back. I want to be at home with my children." I've done a lot of stuff in between then. And then my third child was getting a bit older. I was like, I want to really get back into work, and I just couldn't find a job that could fit around the children. And then my sister-in-law was like, you can come and work for us. So my husband's brother's got and my sister-in-law had a company, a travel agency.
Yeah.
But she was like, you know what? If you come and work for us, it's fine. It's your own job. You're self-employed. You can get commission, but you've got to find your own leads. I was like,
Mm.
I can do this. I can sell travel. I love traveling. I've been traveling all over the world. I've done India for 6 months. I've been to Thailand. I've been all these different places, all the Middle East with my 1-year-old in a backpack, mind you. And I was like, right, how do I do this? I can't go out and meet people. These networking events, they're really expensive. Like in the UK, it's like £800 to join these big kind of
Mm.
networking communities and things. So I started looking online. I'm big on Facebook already. I had loads of connections there. I was kind of a bit tech savvy, coming out of the telecoms world. And I started literally looking on YouTube, looking on Facebook, how to get leads for your business. So I
Yeah.
kind of fell into the network marketing world really strangely. Even though I wasn't a network marketer, I followed a lot of the big kind of online coaches of how they used lead generation to get recruits. So I was like,
Mm.
I can use this to get leads for myself, for my travel business. And it just worked so well. We were doing absolutely amazingly. I was making really, really good income. Like my first year, I got an award for like I came second in best travel agent of the year. Like it's on my LinkedIn. You can go and have a look on my LinkedIn there. And it was really going really well. Obviously, guess what happened in 2020? COVID hit. It was like a tap turned off, like literally,
Yes.
and it was a really stressful time. COVID hit, so we lost everything. I ended up in hospital with Bowles palsy and I had stomach ulcers and I got really ill. Like I was really, really ill. So imagine
Yeah.
COVID in hospital on my own. They were like, it was really traumatic because I had to get taken by an ambulance. I had to go to the stroke department, and everything. But
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, it was just Bowles palsy. Well, not just Bowles palsy. I had shingles. Anyway, all that stuff happened. In between of all of this happening, I started seeing these things online. You know what the Facebook algorithms are like. You can make money
Yes.
from home, become a course creator. You can do 10x and make six figures and be this big thing. I was like, I could do that. And I joined a course and it was about one to many. So what service can you sell that you know that you can
Mm.
sell? And I was like,
Yes.
well, I'm really good at Facebook. I know how to generate leads. I'm seeing all these coaches and stuff online from through my networking and stuff, and all these people that are
Yeah.
trying to find clients. I could
Yeah.
maybe teach that. So bearing in mind, I had this Bowles palsy, I got really ill. I got pregnant as well. So I was going to have baby number four, and I set up the business that I'm in now. Started off small. I was, I done a couple of courses, a couple of group coaching program. I took a little bit of time off. I'm not going to say it was proper time off, but I was still active on social media while I had my baby. And then I kind of fell into freelancing. So I saw a job advertised for a community manager and I was like, oh, I can do that job. And it's perfect because my baby's still small. It's a freelance role. It's contracting for a big coach. And I started doing freelancing. While I was doing freelancing, all the people I was working for, I started like literally getting mentoring, absorbing all the knowledge. So I still work for one of the freelancers today who is Evelyn Weiss. She's like an eight-figure, she teaches people membership and Facebook ads, and she's mentored me one-to-one. She's taught me everything about funnels and just like my knowledge is increased massively by working with clients like that.
Yeah.
And I do have a community and stuff now. So yeah, that's a bit about my story and how I got into everything and how everything kind of grows and evolves.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And, it's really wonderful that you have been so open to shifting with the times and, creating change in your life as circumstances have changed around you.
Mm.
And that is a quality that we love in this community of make change fun and easy. I know it can be a bit tough at times, but it's like if you have that spirit of being open to change and so forth, then you can definitely make it happen.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
I think it's the being open. I think it's
Yeah.
understanding that if you're trying something new or you need to, the word pivot, again, that word is like the 2020
Mm,
word that everybody was pivoting and stuff in the
yes.
last couple of years. It's not as necessarily pivot. I have tried so many different types of business. I have tried
Yeah.
selling skincare. I've tried making nappy cakes. Do you remember nappy cakes from fashion about 10
Mm,
years ago? I've tried making jewelry. These are the little bits I didn't tell you about when I was kind of telling you my story, but I've tried so
yeah.
many different types of businesses. And I just, if something wasn't working, it wasn't that I didn't stick to it. I've taken a lesson and learning from each
Yes.
one of those businesses. And I have the privilege to say now that I've got to the point where I don't feel like a failure, because every time I tried something
Yeah.
new and my husband was like, what's she doing now? What does she want to do now? It's like I've tried to, I now know that each one of those things has
Yeah.
given me a really good skill, or it's given me a lesson, or I've learned
Yes.
something, or I've met people and I've been introduced to a new network through that opportunity that I've had. And
Yes.
it's like anything in the business. So like I teach funnels and I teach people how to create offers and things like that in their
Yeah.
business. Okay. So what I see so much is, and I am guilty of this myself as well, I've done this, is you put an offer out or you try a new business and it doesn't work the first time, or it doesn't work in the first couple of weeks or even the first couple of months. And you almost blame yourself and think, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. But actually, it may be because you haven't tested it enough, or it may be that you need to
Mm.
try something new. You need to adapt. It's not just about, adapting and changing. It's about, like you said, making it fun and easy to be like,
Yeah.
okay, what can I do now? And there is obviously a fine line whether you're just going to give up because, the
Yeah.
confidence, or you haven't put enough hard work in, quite frankly, because a
Yeah.
lot of this is quite hard work. But it's also about understanding that this life, that we go through, Allah puts things inside our heart,
Yeah.
and we get lessons, and we've got needs, wants and desires, and there is a
Yeah.
plan for everybody. And it's okay to change, and it's okay to change something and test it. So if I put
Yeah.
an offer out tomorrow and say, hey, buy my thing, and it doesn't work, a year ago, even maybe 6 months ago, I'd be like, right, that's it. Not going to work. I'm not doing it again. I'm trying something else. Maybe I could say, okay, maybe the offer isn't right, or maybe my message isn't right. It isn't correct.
Mm.
I need to change it. I need to try a new angle. I need to try something new.
Yes.
So it's kind of keeping in that mindset of moving forward and pushing forward. And you know what, in this life, especially when you're an online business owner, you get knocked down, but you have to get back
Yeah.
up again, and you get knocked down.
Yes.
And in life, as a mum and as a wife and everything, all the trials and tribulations that come, you get knocked down and you just get back
Yeah.
up again. Like we have to push through, right? And it's hard. I know it's hard. Like you wouldn't believe how hard things have been sometimes for me. And like I said, I've got a privilege to sit here now and be all positive and say, hey, it's great. It's okay if it doesn't work out and stuff. But like, honestly, I've been through it, so kind of understand a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thank you for that, sharing that insight and being that much more real with us. Um, because you're absolutely right. Like I have lost count of how many different things I have tried out and
Mm.
how many pivots I have made in the course of my, um, from the point in time when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to just do some regular job. I want to start my own business, my own organization, and it's gone through so many iterations. And like I've changed messaging, but I've also just changed like my ideal client, the
Mhm.
people I want to work with. I've changed what I want to work with them on. I started out, this was like back when I was still in college, and my first idea was to just teach women's self-defense classes
Mhm.
because I had in college taken some self-defense classes and I found it to be so empowering and so transformational. And I knew I wanted to do something to help, especially women, take more control of their well-being and their, um, just life. And that seemed to me like, okay, here, is a pathway I can follow. And so I actually got trained in how to be a self-defense teacher for women. And I actually joined an organization where uh, they um, basically I was one of the instructors in that organization. We went out and we did all these workshops and trainings for different organizations that invited us, but also just sometimes we would organize our own trainings and
Mm.
workshops and bring in women from the community. And, and so that was one of the ways I got started. But then, it was like, now I'm not teaching that at all, pretty much. Well, except now I focus a lot on like mental, emotional self-defense
Mm.
in the way that I talk about how to be happy and, as a happiness expert, but I'm not teaching the physical part so much anymore. Um, yeah, so, we make all these pivots and changes, and it's not a failure. It's definitely a learning thing. It's like with the physical self-defense thing, I took it as far as I could take it. And then I had some realizations about, oh, this is not really what I want to really dedicate my life to because, in my case, I realized that once you become really focused on the physical aspect of self-defense, then you just have to keep training and learning new techniques. And then you have to learn how to master different weapons. Like, what if like someone points a gun at you? Then you have to think
Mm.
about like, and it's never ending. And it actually was creating more fear in me. Like on the one hand, I was like, oh, now I know something about how to defend myself. And so I felt better and more empowered. But then when I realized how much I don't know and all the different ways I could be attacked, and I don't know how to protect myself in those contexts yet. So then fear started coming in. And it was just like, I was like, no, 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 no. I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And it wasn't promoting my happiness and inner peace in the ways that I was really desiring. And so, but I still got something really important and valuable by going through that experience.
Yeah. And I also don't think it's okay to be multi-passionate.
Yeah,
And I think people are a bit afraid to try something new because they think,
yeah,
oh, they're going to think, oh, they're thinking, what's she changing again? Or I've had comments of people like, I can't keep up with you. You're doing what you're doing now. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just talking about different things because I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was about 3 years ago, so in my late 30s.
mm,
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to just own it. I'm going to own my
yeah,
ADHD superpower. Like I know so many different things. It's amazing. And I can
yes,
use all of these skills. So for example, when I have a freelance client now, so sometimes when some of the clients, like I mentioned, I work with, like there'll be something that maybe I've not been contracted to do, but I notice it and I'm like, yeah, I can fix this. Oh yeah, I've got project management experience. Oh, I've got this experience. Oh yeah, I've done instant management. I've done service
yeah,
improvement. I've done this. Oh, I've done project management. Oh yeah, I used to do beauty and like, it's all these little things.
yeah,
And people are like, where'd you get all this information from? Like, everything like, and it's really good because being multi-passionate as well
yeah,
helps you when you're coaching clients or when you're working with
right,
clients because
yes,
often we can really like because the experience that you have and all the
yes,
different settings that you've seen, I can
hmm,
often tell you what a client needs. I can tell them what they need within 10 minutes
yeah,
of them talking to me. I know straight away
yes,
what it is because it's come from those different experiences and people come to
yeah,
me from different industries and I'm like, oh yeah, I know about that industry or I've had a client in that industry. So, it really helps. But being multi-passionate is okay as well. And
yes,
I know you were talking about ideal client. Um, I think everybody should be like reviewing their ideal client at least once every 3 months.
mm,
Minimum. You should be because we change. If you say keep the same ideal client all the way through your journey, if I had the same ideal client now as I had like 2 years ago, um, a lot of the people that I worked with 2 years ago have like completely moved on. So you're
yeah,
constantly working with new people, which is good anyway, but you change as a person.
yeah,
Your energy changes and the world changes. Like we've seen a
yes,
massive shift in the online industry in the last few months. Like it's been massive and it's coming on so quick that I don't think people realize that it's hitting them. Like I'm speaking to a
yeah,
lot of people and they're like, I'm not selling the way that I used to. Like the calls I'm having with clients and people coming to me saying, can you help me? Like my ads are not working or I'm not
yeah,
selling the same way as I used to. And I used to have my whole diary was booked up with calls, set up with like discovery calls, and now I'm not getting hardly any, or they're not converting the same way.
yeah,
And this is happening very, very quickly. Now, there's a couple
Yes.
of things in play here. I think AI, which we all know anyway, but I think there's a big shift in the online industry recently.
Mm,
And I think that's also to do with the way that the big networks are what they're allowing on to be placed online
yeah.
as well. And we've had a few things that have happened in the industry, as you know, especially like in the UK recently. We had the thing with the Muslim Pioneer, which is ongoing. So we don't know what's going on. Obviously, we've just seen what's on the internet, and a lot of people have been affected by that. And that has, I think, I've even had a client say to me that somebody didn't want to work with them because they heard about that and they were really dubious and
Mm,
they need to go and think about their investment again. So it is
yeah.
affecting people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, things are changing. Things are changing very, very fast.
Mm.
Um, and this makes me think about the idea of going back to certain basics.
Yeah.
That no matter how much technology changes or advances, etc., there's certain basics that we can, I think, rely on
Mm.
and help us when it comes to, well, right now, you are a digital marketing strategist. So when we think about it in a marketing context, I think there are certain basics that we can fall back on. And like for me, I know this is something you and I have talked about
Mm.
before. I think one of those core basics is learning about collaboration
Yeah.
and how we can collaborate our way to success, especially when you're still what I might call a little fish
Mm.
and you don't have thousands of dollars to spend on paid advertising and so forth.
Mm.
Can you tell me a little more about what insights you have in terms of this collaboration model? Like, what does that look like for you, experiences you've had around it, and so forth?
Collaboration is one of the most underestimated tools, shall we call it,
Mm,
that we have in business. Like I started doing networking events in 2018, and I still have people that I'm connected with then contact me now that I've met. Oh, do you remember we met? Like I put a photo up of one of the first networking events I ever did. I ran it in a cafe and was like, who wants to come and meet me in the cafe? Like, and online collaboration is absolutely amazing. Like
yeah.
leveraging each other's audiences. If you have somebody
Mm,
that has a shared audience, it can be so powerful for your business, not just for your own personal growth, but for your business growth.
yeah.
And the one thing I see a lot of people, there's almost a scarcity mindset around it.
Mm,
So, for example, I would work with another digital marketer in my space. So another person that's selling maybe the same service or a service similar to mine. So somebody that's like a website designer or sells coaching programs and things like
mm,
that. Like I've worked with people that people may have thought, oh, you two could be competitors, but actually we're not. It's better to work together. So we do things like these kind of things, podcasts, we can go live together. We can do email list swaps. So when I say email list swap, if you haven't got an email list or you have got an email list, you can say to each other, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll share your lead magnet or your low ticket offer in my email this week and you share mine whenever it's relevant.
yeah.
You can do live events together. I've even got people in my network, some of my clients that have launched offers together.
Yes.
And it's really, really amazing for your business. And I have so many people ask me, I get inboxes going, oh, do you know this person for this? Do you know this person for that? Or you're the person in the know, because it's a really good trait of a business owner to be a connector as well, because
Yeah.
people remember you. They remember
Mm,
Sarah Saleh. Oh, she'll know that. She knows that person. Or people will message me and, this speaker, can you get them on? Or do you know how to do this and things like that? So that's one aspect of the collaboration in regards to how we can leverage each other's audiences. There's also things that you can do like launches. So for example, I don't know if you've heard of digital bundles.
Mm,
So digital bundles
yes.
are where a group of business owners get together, you all offer something of value. So it would normally be a paid product. Yes, you give it away for free, people. You don't charge. Okay. You can have a what we call a tripwire on upsell on the back end. So if you have a course, it's like $50 or $100, give it away for free. It doesn't matter. You're going to get leads. You know, that isn't something that's sat in your toolbox right now that you can give, and you don't have to pay for that traffic. You would sometimes
Yeah.
people for 100 leads, people will pay £150 more to get, and this is going to be targeted leads, right? So you can like people, you can either look for bundles or you can even create your own bundle. I'm planning on doing one in the new year, just before kind of Ramadan time. So that's another thing with regards to collaboration. And it can be really difficult, like approaching people, because again, I don't want to put the marketing industry down, but in the
Yeah.
Muslim marketing space, so I've done a lot of collaborations outside of the Muslim space because I do work and I've got freelance clients outside the Muslim space. And when I've done it in the Muslim space, it's almost like there's a bit of scarcity there. And
Mm,
I interviewed around 30 women of my ideal client for like market research. And when they were joining my membership, and I spoke to them and said, what is it you need? How do you feel? And a lot of them said that it's kind of like there's a little click at the top
mm,
and they kind of feel at the bottom, and it's really hard to get to that place where you
yeah.
feel like you are worthy enough to be a collaborator or you're
Yeah.
worthy enough to inbox someone. I mean, the worst that they're going to say is no. Like just inbox someone and say, hey, I've got this thing. Can we, do a collaboration? The most effective thing that's worked for me consistently since 2020 is giving away a free training. So
Yeah.
I approach coaching programs, network marketing teams. Don't underestimate network marketing teams, coaching programs, memberships, and I will say, hey, can I give your community a free training? And I don't sell, I don't pitch. I give a proper value free training and masterclass that may have cost something, and I give a pitch for my freebie at the end. That's it. I say, join
Mm,
my email list. And this is so underestimated. So for example, right now, I've got a couple of trainings that I've done before. So I am in that privileged place to do this. But you guys, if you can use ChatGTP or something, maybe I'll do a little training on that somewhere, to create a mini masterclass that's going to solve a specific problem that is
yeah.
a pain point for your audience. So for
Mm,
example, I've got the ones that I've got going out right now are networking for your business, how to network, what do you say, what do you do, how do you fill in the gaps when it gets awkward, all these things. That's a pain point for a lot of people.
yeah.
Also, how to create a lead magnet. What is email
Yeah.
marketing? How do I even start?
Yeah.
So I've got one that I'm doing for a copywriting membership, and I'm talking about networking. I've got a lead magnet kind of email marketing 101 training I'm doing for a YouTube faceless automation membership. And these people have got hundreds of people in there. Like, when
Yeah.
can I ever get in front of hundreds of people to deliver value without having to
Yes.
launch and that kind of, and I've done like Facebook, how to use Facebook to generate leads training. I've done it to 5 people on a FM network marketing team. I've done it to 500 people on a big, massive kind of coaching program. And I
Yeah.
deliver exactly the same. And I've approached Facebook admins. I approached a Facebook admin once and they offered me a job. They were like, do you want a job? Come and work with us, help us with our community development. There's so many different like aspects out there and
Yeah.
the way you can do. And I know it can feel a bit overwhelming, but if you are willing to go on a podcast like this, for example, or you're willing
Yeah.
to do a live on your
Yeah.
Facebook, you can get together a few slides, or don't even do any slides. How about that? Just go on and
Yeah.
talk and give value, like
Yeah.
actually teach something.
Right.
Not a webinar. No, don't do a sales webinar. It's very easy to go in and be, this is my
Yeah.
story. Don't. Solve a specific problem that's their pain point. You will demonstrate value and you'll position yourself as a leader, and you will start to have social credibility. You can also ask at the end of these sessions, if you really enjoyed my session, share it on your Instagram stories. Please leave me a review or send me an anonymous review so I can screenshot There you go. You've got reviews, show social credibility, leadership. You've made new connections. You've made leads. You possibly could even have sales.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Even if you're a small fish, do it. Do
Yes.
it, especially small fishes, because it gives you practice. And just honestly, you'll be surprised how open people can be to give you like a free training.
Yes. And you know, the thing is that a lot of times when we approach the big fish and we get rejected, and then we think, oh my gosh, you know, I'm a failure or something. But really, it's like I've come to realize that, you know, they're playing a somewhat different game. And it's okay for us to play a different game. You know,
Yes.
there's this concept of little fish organize. Like if you Google little fishes organize, there
Mhm.
are all these images that pop up of there's like one big fish, right? And then facing off the big fish, there's a whole bunch of little fishes and they've
Mm.
organized themselves in the formation of a big fish. And
Yeah.
there's so many little fishes, and once they've organized themselves, they have become even bigger than the big fish, you know? And so it's like, yeah, that's a different way of doing things. That's a different mindset. And I think it's a uh, wonderful mindset and thing to, you know, like look into how you can leverage that
Mm.
for yourself. And, you know, even as you continue to grow bigger yourself, like don't forget the lessons that you have learned and amazing connections you have developed in this context of little fishes organizing with each other. And maybe you can continue to uplift more people as you grow
Yeah.
yourself, you know. So, um, uh, yes, because I agree with you, Sarah. The most success I've found, like this has been one of the core aspects of it. I remember my first year of launching my coaching practice. I
Mm.
worked with some 30 or so clients in the first year, and I didn't realize that I was like, achieving any kind of exceptional results in that context. I just was like, oh, yeah, I did this. It was only when I started talking to other coaches who were also in a similar position of just having launched their practices and so forth. They're like, whoa, how do you do this? How did you make that happen? And
Mm.
I was like, oh, you know, I actually went to this conference and I met this lady and we decided to do a training together. And actually this lady that I'm right now thinking about, she was one of the people I collaborated with my first year. So she actually had established health and wellness spa and
Mhm.
like a physical in-person business where people
Yeah.
came in to receive health and like services from her. And so I was just talking with her. We connected at a personal level because, you know, I was sharing with her my story of how I became a happiness expert. And I said, you know, it's because I really struggled with my own happiness growing up because I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse. And that was something that when I shared my story with her about that, she connected with me at a personal level. And she was like,
Mm.
you know what? I'm a survivor as well. And and that put something in her heart where she was like, let's do something together. And you know, so she was like way out of my league, honestly, in terms of she already her health and wellness spa business, like already multi-million dollar business
Mhm.
and so forth. But we connected at a human level, and she was like, let's do something. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I've been hearing from you about your business is I noticed that you have such a diversity of um, service providers, but they're all focusing on different aspects of physical health. maybe I can come in and offer some workshops on mental emotional health. She was like,
Mhm.
I love that idea. Let's give it a try. And so, I actually, that was the value that I brought.
Mm.
She brought me into her space, advertised the workshop that I proposed to her existing client base, and a bunch of people signed up, and so we had like, I think 10 people sign up the first time. She
Mhm.
advertised it to her community of people, and then we had a really great experience with that. We got lots of positive reviews from her clients, and we're like, okay, let's do round two. Let's do it again, you know. And so it's like, um, and I'm not saying that, um, like maybe if I hadn't met her, I was meeting so many other people, and I was able to collaborate with in other ways in the future. Some of those collaborations were a little bit smaller. We had to put in a little bit more initial work in terms of because every collaboration is different, and so you
Mm.
have to kind of navigate who brings what, how you're going to do things. You're starting at different points and so forth. So, but yeah, it's like for me, that has consistently been one of the building blocks of my business. And that has made things so much more fun and easy also.
Yeah, and I think the main thing I take from that is the networking.
Yeah,
Like you didn't just
yeah,
sit on social media and post reels
yeah,
and expect clients to DM you, because these days is what a lot of people are doing.
yeah.
And especially with the style of marketing that's being taught right now, it's,
Mm,
post on Instagram 3 times a day,
yeah,
post on, give value, like without even really telling you what giving value is, post in Facebook groups, go on threads, and it's exhausting. It's
yes,
so exhausting. Like, so I believe it or not, find social media exhausting a lot of the time. It
yeah,
is can be very exhausting, energy draining, and
yeah,
never underestimate the power of just speaking to people. Like go on to,
yes,
like, I always say to people, go onto Facebook, go and do a search, find networking events, go on to Eventbrite. If it's in person, if you can't get to in person, there's loads. I run networking events. I do free coffee chats. If you cannot find a networking event, start one. And I don't mean start a big event and a big thing. Just say to put a post on Facebook or
yeah,
Instagram, wherever your thing is, and say, hey, who wants to meet me for a coffee? Let's do a Zoom. Let's do a catch up
yeah.
about X, Y, Z. That's it. And you know
Mm,
what? You may have one person, you may have no people, but the next week you may have 5 people. The week after
yeah,
that, you may have two. The week after that, you may have 10. But
yeah,
you've connected with those people on a real level. Like
yeah,
online networking is more difficult because we don't have the privilege of being in the same room as somebody, having this, feeling the same energy, but getting on Zoom is so much better than just
yeah.
being on. And it's great because you're like, oh yeah, I know you, I've seen your posts or I've seen your reels, and
Yes,
you connect on that level so much
yeah,
better. You really, really do. And
yes,
just getting out there and talking to people, and like when people say to me, oh, what do you mean, how do I network, like what is it, like I said, just go out there. Imagine if you're going to a coffee morning or you're going
yeah,
to meet someone for coffee. Think
yeah,
of it like that, be as simple as that. Or go and
mm,
find spaces online where they may be doing these kind of events. um I know when people say things like give value and leave breadcrumbs, I don't really like those terms. When they say that, it's like you go in a group, you post your pitch, you tell somebody how amazing you are, and then you give a call to action to book a call. That's not what
yeah,
it is. It's actually going in and genuinely interacting. Like I'm on some
yeah,
groups, and the advice I give on there, people pay me for in calls one to one. And
yeah,
I will give out so much value, and I will give people proper in-depth responses to questions, not just, oh, I can help you with that, send me a DM. Because I see so
mm,
many coaches and online service providers doing that. I
yeah,
see them in groups and they're like, they're in, for example, like if you're a parent coach, you're in a mum's group, it's like,
yeah,
oh, I can help you, send me a DM. Like, no, no, don't send me a DM. Do you know why? Yeah, send someone a DM. You're going to get more value of putting some 5-10 minute effort into giving a good response because you never know who's watching it. I've
Yeah.
had somebody join a live event, meet me in a networking event, join my email list. And I've mainly met them once. They've been following me on social media. They've met me, then
Yeah.
they've met me at a networking event. And then they will want to buy like a really, really expensive funnel solution from me because I've given so much value and I've helped them with the process so much.
Yeah.
They're like, right, now I'm ready for you to do it for me kind of thing. So going in there there's a different energy from selling
Yeah.
and pitching to
Hmm.
genuinely connecting and actually
Yes.
genuinely giving value, and people can tell the difference.
Yes. And like in the example that I shared with one of these first collaborations I did, um, like it was a genuine like connection that we made at a human level that motivated this much bigger fish than I was at that time to be like, you know what, Samia, let's do something together.
Yeah,
I mean, if I had been just, thinking sales, how can I get this person to, how can I sell her into my program
yeah,
or something, if I had that kind of mindset and if I hadn't shared honestly about my story and where I was coming from, who knows
yeah.
if you would have ever, ended up in that collaboration or not.
Yeah, a lot of the
So,
big fish know. They can see when someone's got potential and they can see when someone's going to be help or collaboration. If they come off or you assume that they're being rude or they're being not rude, I don't want to say that because some people they're just too busy or they don't understand or they just haven't got time. It
yeah,
might be they're not the right person for you. That's it, literally it. They're not the right
yeah,
person to collab, and maybe they're not ready for
that's
a
right.
collaboration because I work with a lot of 7, 8 figure business
Yeah,
owners, and I can tell you there's a different level of
yeah,
scarcity. There's a different
yeah,
level of collaboration and things that they want from their business.
yes,
And they don't always see the value in it until later on,
yes,
or they've got their own mindset or their own, believe it or
yeah,
not, limiting beliefs on certain things
yes,
because it can become a very lonely place when you start getting success, believe it or not. So they
yes,
have to be they've maybe been burnt in the past. Some people are very wary who they work with. Like I've said, we've kind of touched on that thing what's happening with Muslim Pioneer. He was very well propped up and supported by many, many big names in the industry. So people are can be very guarded, but it doesn't matter. At least if
mm,
you try, you're going to plant a seed. You never know, they
yeah,
may come. And
yeah.
least they're going to do is say no. What's going to happen? Nothing.
Right. And you're not depending upon, some big fish taking you under their wing
No,
or
no, no,
whatever. It's
no.
like, don't depend on that. The point is that if you're genuine, if you have good intentions, something like that may happen sooner for you than later.
Yeah,
But in the meantime, don't depend on it. Don't have that be the agenda with which you even try to build relationship with them and so forth. Because you're very right, Sarah. I think one of the things I've noticed about um, like the people who become big fish is um, there is there is their own kind of scarcity mindset that they fall into. Um, but also there is like some genuine, I think, concern that they have in terms of being taken advantage of
yeah.
because and people using them for their
Mhm.
own
Because
ends.
it
And
does
so they
happen.
have,
It happens.
yes, it
It does
happens.
happen.
And so they build up these guard walls,
Mhm.
um, and I think they have a right to do that.
I
They
think most
have,
people
yeah,
are honestly open. Honestly, most
yeah,
people are open, and we're all business owners at the end of the day. We're all here to make money.
yeah,
So it's
right,
not just about I'm going to pitch to you and I want to sell. It's like, okay, how can we benefit from each other?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's like collaborating with, like I said, I've collaborated with people of one or people of 500 or 1,000 or
yeah,
whatever it is. So it's just really being intentional about what you're going to be doing for your business and why you want to do it and how you want to do
hmm,
it. It's
right,
like, because it can be really weird when someone's in your DM, they're like, hey, how you doing? You're like, okay, I'm waiting for the pitch now.
yeah.
So this is why going
Yeah,
to purpose like events or organizing your own, like I said, it can be a coffee and chat, tea and
yeah,
chat. People have different
yeah,
words, but gup shop, I've heard that kind of stuff as well. I've heard all these different words, and going to those,
yeah,
everybody's kind of there to meet each other and see each other, and especially in Facebook groups
yeah.
as well. People know that we're all in there to see each other. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of just going out and doing some collaborations and just getting yourself out there and just acting like you're a 6, 8, 7, 8, 9, whatever business owner it is, and just be like, I've got this amazing thing and I want to collaborate with people because I know that we can help each other for our business, because the
Hmm.
more you take advantage of it, no one else is going to be taking advantage of what you're doing. So you're going to have the upper hand already. You're going to be doing something different in your business. But I just think it's difficult for people to kind of see a way forward. It's like, okay, what's the first
Yeah,
step? How do I feel to do networking without feeling salesy? Or how do I do collaborations without being salesy to people I don't know? But it's just, hey, would you like to go live together? Or ask
yeah.
somebody to introduce you as well. Can you introduce us? Like, do you know each other? Can you introduce us? Like that kind of thing as well. You have to do a little bit of online dating, friend dating, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, like having something of value to offer without, I think the thing that gets tricky is like as you said, I mean, those of us who are in business, I mean, obviously we have a mission and a purpose in terms of wanting to grow our business, making the business successful, and at the same time, you know, we we want to do it from a place of honesty and without being sleazy and all
Mhm.
of that kind of stuff. And so sometimes it can be like a mind trick of sorts to sort of go out there and offer value and just,
I think
do
it's a
your
lot of the
thing.
time we
Yeah,
put our own limiting beliefs on ourselves because
yeah.
we've been pitched to so much in our
Mhm.
DNA.
Yes, yes,
I get marriage proposals. I get 10x your business. Do you want an appointment settler? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want to buy my
yeah,
skin? Oh, do you want to do this? I get it so much. I get tagged
yeah,
in posts that are completely irrelevant to me.
yeah,
I get so many inboxes, I get emails, I get all sorts of
yeah,
stuff. And I'm just like, I never turn anyone down. I never be horrible to anyone. Anyone that pictures me, I'm really nice because, like I said, I know what it's like to be a
yeah,
small fish and think, you know what?
yeah,
At least you're doing something to grow your business. At least you're not
yeah,
sat just posting reels and expecting everything to
yeah,
come to you. So,
yeah,
um, but it's because we sometimes put a limit in belief because we don't want to be that salesy person, but also it's sometimes that we don't have the confidence, and our limiting belief is actually in the subconscious because
yeah.
a lot of us do have the thing about validation and rejection. It's very,
Yes,
very common with online
yes,
business owners.
right. No, I think that's where the trick comes in, right? Where it's like one thing to make your offer, make your pitch. And I think what we need to separate that out from is having an expectation of the person we're pitching to saying yes to
Yeah.
us or even no to us. Like, don't do, like, it's like you do what you need to do, but then let the universe take care of the results and trust that it will do its best by you. That the universe is a friendly universe and like you don't have to try and control outcomes. You don't have to try to control how other people respond to you
Mm.
for everything to turn out okay. Just do your thing, do your deed, and let the fruit come emerge on its own in its own good time.
Yeah, and it will, like I said, if you make it as easy as, so when people say make it as easy as
Yeah,
possible to buy, right? I work at
yeah,
Follows. You have to make it
yeah,
as easy as possible for somebody to say yes. You
yeah,
say, hey, I've got this training, or hey, I think us two could work well together. This is what I do. Here's a bit of
Yeah.
my work. Here's my Instagram. I think we could think about the ways that you can collaborate and benefit each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I come from a projects background, like I said to you, I'm very solution focused. So the
Yeah.
agile way of being solution focused. So don't
Yeah.
just, if you go in with a solution focused mindset, say this is how
Yeah.
I think we could be amazing together. Or if, like you said, you wanted to offer a free training, which honestly is such a good way to do this, people, please, honestly, is go in with a solution. I've got this amazing training on this very burning pain point that our audience have or your audience have that I've got the solution to.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you for free. I'm not going to pitch any sales. I'm just going to offer my lead magnet at the end. And
Yeah.
that's it. And you can get them, you can tell them they can look at the slides before and all that kind of stuff if you want to. But have something ready or have a pitch, not a pitch, but like have a solution ready. So they can be
Yeah.
like, oh, look, because it's almost like a buying decision in a way when you're
Yeah.
making friends and stuff like that. It's not like a buying decision. It's like, hey, it's my proposition. This is what I've got.
Yeah.
What do you think? And
Yeah.
if you just go, hey, would you like to collaborate? And it's like, okay, what does that mean? How does that work? What are we going to do? And it's just like, it can turn to like, maybe not. Whereas if you go in confident with a solution to say, hey, I just want to be friends. I want to kind of benefit each other. How can we work together? Then that could be a really good way to go into it as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And like, and just staying open, because like I've had it happen where I will like make a suggestion
Hmm.
that, hey, I think maybe we can work this way or
Yeah.
collaborate on this together. And then the other person comes back with, actually, you know what? I'm not interested in that. But here's this other thing that I'm working on and that
Hmm.
I would love some support on.
Yeah.
And, and so to be open and be like, okay, is that something I could support this person on? You don't always have to jump up and be like, yes, okay,
Yes,
I'll do whatever someone else wants me
definitely.
to do. But to just have that openness to just consider what they are saying they really need and want. And if you
Mm.
can help them with that, then that can be another really great way to move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Mm, yeah. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, um, uh, we have touched on so many different threads and things that we've talked about. And I realized, my gosh, we should also start thinking about wrapping up for today. Are you having any like last thoughts that you really want to share with our audience?
Yeah, the one thing I'd love to share is getting confidence in yourself. And if
Mm,
there's one thing I can share from my journey that took me a lot of coaching, a lot of worry and anxious nights and not working with people and not putting out offers because I was afraid was this. You don't need validation from anyone else to run your business. And if you're going to be doing like collaborations and stuff, you don't need validation from the other person. You're just
mm,
good and you're absolutely worth it the way you are. And I think the main things that people really struggle with is the clarity and the consistency. And we all know if you have clarity and consistency, it equals, it's the confidence, it's all there.
yeah,
And I think going into 2025, I think the main thing most people are going to have the struggle with is the focus. It's always a struggle, but I think even more now
mm,
because there's so much noise online and
mm,
there's so many offers and there's so much noise. And like I said, the market's changing really quickly. It's going to be really difficult to know what to focus on. And
yeah,
just knowing that you are enough and it's okay to try new things and it's okay to
mm,
meet new people and do things. And, again, like I said earlier, if you get knocked down, you just get back up again. You get back up again.
yeah, yeah. You know what? You just made me think of another question for me to ask you because this is something, and then maybe we will wrap up. But I wanted to ask you, so a couple of times you have mentioned shifts that are happening
Mhm.
in the market and the way things are being done online, especially for businesses. But maybe we can actually spell that out because not everyone is up to date and
Mhm,
aware, especially if you're not professionally in the marketing
mhm.
space. Can you share with us like what are one or two important trends that
So,
you see shifting?
so going into 2025, I think the
Mm,
way people are buying has changed a lot. Now, there's always core fundamentals in marketing, and there's
mm,
always shifts in the market. Now, AI came out last year and it did have an exponential growth, but we're starting to see not a fallout, but we're kind of seeing a burnout of it right now. There's so
mm,
much stuff online. Use ChatGTP to 10x your business and all this kind of stuff, but it really is professionalizing, and a lot of people are using AI in their business. And if you're not, I would start thinking about it right now. AI for content creation, for video creation. There's so many different things. Automation in your business. There's so many different things because if you don't learn AI now, you're going to be replaced by somebody that does learn or knows how to use it or knows how to leverage it in their business. And you're going to think, how are these people doing all this stuff and they're cranking out all this content? It's because they've got a
yeah,
team probably. But a lot of the time, a lot of people are using AI. But I think the
yeah,
way that people are buying is changing.
mm,
We've become a culture that's so fast. Fast food, fast fashion, fast social media. We sit on our phones, we're like, fast,
yeah,
fast, fast, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. It's the
yeah,
same with the way that we want to consume content,
mm,
especially if you're in a service-based business or if you're a coach. People want results like that. And
mm,
transformation takes time.
yeah,
Transformation and healing and transformation is not linear.
yeah,
It's not a linear thing that happens in 6 weeks or in 90 days. It can go up and down. And
yeah,
I think the way people are like where you would do a long 12-week, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month coaching program, a lot of people are just not in for that anymore. They're just not in for that. They want micro-based content with short
mm,
learnings, like podcast-based content, like audio content, short courses, short, sharp, actionable things that they can take away.
yeah,
Because obviously this is not all industries. There are some things that are different, but overall the way that people are buying the way people are buying online is changing as well. Like TikTok, especially for like e-com and stuff like that, is growing massively.
yeah,
Like the people are buying differently as well. So there's always been ways that people buy depending on who your ideal client is. For example, if your ideal client's a mum, she's going to be scrolling at night. She may see your post in the morning and she'll come back and she'll be scrolling and buying at night because she's busy all day. There's
yeah,
loads of little nuances to this. But I think moving forward, we have to kind of, like you said earlier, go back to basics and
mm,
simplify the way that we are doing things and simplify our content. Now, I personally believe traditionally, there's a lot of very convoluted programs and offers out there. And there's all these 100 upsells and downsells and cross sells and checkout bumps and all this kind of stuff. It can be overwhelming and it can be confusing, and people don't want that. They want
yeah,
something that's short. And also a really big thing that's going into market is community. Community is coming back. It's
yeah,
always been something. As
yeah,
humans, we're inherently looking for our tribe, always
yeah,
looking for where our people are. And whether we're an introvert or not, online communities are where it's at over the long, structured calls, that kind of thing. If you are a coach, I would really look into asynchronous coaching for 2025. So that's where for example, I have an offer where I will give a week's worth of voice support over WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Voxer. And I have not strict's probably the wrong word. I've got boundaries where I say, okay, I will respond between 9 to 5 or
yeah,
9 to 3, and then in the evening, Monday to Friday, you'll get a response back depending on what level they've got within a certain amount of time. And I will coach that way. Now,
yeah,
this doesn't work for everyone. And
yeah,
but I guarantee you, whatever coach you are, you can use this as a maintenance package, for example. So you may have done some really
Mm,
intense coaching with somebody, and if they want to carry on, but they may not have the money or they may not have the time to sit and do a call every week, it's too
yeah,
much. Have you
yeah,
ever took have you ever took a client on, for example? I've done this because I'm a coach, I'm a qualified coach. I don't really coach, I'm more
yeah,
of a consultant. That's where I sit. It's where I
yeah,
like to be. I don't really, but have you ever taken a client on and you're like, okay, right, we're going to do, let's say 12 calls
yeah,
over 12 weeks. Have you ever
yeah,
done like 2 or 3 weeks and gone, okay, she doesn't need another call,
yeah,
or she's not going to need another call next week? And I've seen coaches draw
yeah,
this out just because they want to keep
yeah,
the, they want to keep the money, they want to keep on
yeah,
schedule. Yeah.
yeah,
Could you create an offer that's a bit of both? So you have a couple of calls and then you say, okay, you've got me for the next month for certain types of people.
yeah,
Be flexible with what you're doing. And this also serves us as business owners because we're
yeah,
not sitting there like, oh, I've got a day of 4 hours of calls and I've got to go and do the washing up and I've got to cook dinner, I've got to pick the kids up and I have to take them to their clubs, I have to take them to
yeah,
madrasa, and then I've got another 2 calls booked in and I've got a discovery call. What can you do? You can have
yeah,
somebody that you send a voice note to in between, you're on social media doing whatever you need to do. This can work so much better. So having
yeah,
flexibilities and thinking outside the box for these types of
yeah,
offers can be really useful, I personally think, for this kind of industry.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, being a bit more flexible and thinking outside the box and saying, okay, here's my 12-week coaching program. You're going to have 1 call per week. And then week 3, you're like, okay, this person don't need coaching yet. Like they could probably have a month break, or a client's gone,
yeah,
oh, you need another coaching call yet? Can I have a part of a refund, or can I have this? Or, we've all
yeah,
been, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you on the flexibility part. It can really help because exactly like I signed on a client. This was like a few years ago. And then she was like, oh, but I've just been invited to go on a 2-week vacation and it's going to be all paid. So I can't say no to it. And we're going to go to this very great
Yeah,
location, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, um, so it just a gap comes in, right? In terms of the plan that we had agreed upon to work with. And I'm like, like from my perspective, you don't want to completely disconnect. Um, not only like um, because like we are working on transformation, we're working on creating change. So it's
mm,
like if you completely disconnect, you lose the momentum, you lose the rhythm, and so forth. So what I did was I modified. I was like, okay, look, you don't have to get on calls and things, but I am giving you one assignment that over the course of the 2 weeks, do this one practice
yeah,
and then come back to me and tell me how it went. And
yeah,
then we'll go from there, And so I made some, and I didn't want the one practice that I chose for her. I thought about it a little bit in terms of what would be most effective and easy and manageable for her to do and still impactful in terms of our being able to continue to move her forward towards the results that we were working on in terms of her taking control of her happiness and so forth. So, and happily, when you are a little fish, and you have fewer clients, it's actually easier to do that kind of flexing and
yeah. I think it's
so
good
forth.
because I think a lot of clients as well like to work in that energy, because you might find clients
Mm,
won't sign up with you because they can't when, especially within the mindset kind of niches, especially in some of the heavier niches and things like that, when you're doing helping people with, transformations,
mm,
even when they're signing on, looking at working on themselves, sitting down with somebody, actually
yeah,
having that space to sit down for the next
yeah,
12 weeks or whatever it is with someone can be very difficult. And it's not
yeah,
because they don't want to work on themselves or they don't want to do the transformation. It's just life. right?
Yeah.
And how many times have you had a thing where a client hasn't turned up and they're like, oh, I've had to go to the
Right.
doctors, or oh, I couldn't do that. And sometimes it's because
Yeah.
clients don't want to actually do the call. And I think
Yeah.
just offering something that's a bit different. And also you've got a lot
Yeah.
of clients that say to you, I can't afford 2 grand, I can't afford 5 grand, I can't
Yeah.
afford whatever it is your
Yeah.
package is. You
Yeah.
can say, okay, how about would you like WhatsApp support for $500 or $200, whatever it is you want to offer?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
give you this voice support. We can have one call.
Yeah.
We'll have a call. We'll work out our goals. We'll work out what, our objectives are. Well, what
Yeah.
goals would be. And then we'll move forward with the WhatsApp support. And then you
Yeah.
know that they're there, that you're still there with that lifeline helping them. And I can
Right.
understand for some coaches that can be a bit of a shift of being
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not sat here, but actually, how many times do you speak to your friends on voice notes?
Yeah.
Give them advice and talk to them
Yeah.
and business contacts and go, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna blah blah blah, yeah, okay, do that or
Yeah.
whatever. It can
Yeah.
work for certain
Yeah.
things, definitely.
Right. Yeah. Just try it out and
Yeah,
see
try
if
it
it
out. That's
really
something, just
doesn't
try it
work.
out.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't work, then you don't have to keep going with it, but just try it
Yeah,
out, stay open. Um, it's part of the whole change making process, making
yeah,
change fun
yeah.
and
Short,
easy.
short, sharp, micro content and working with, yeah, and it's more flexible on you as well. It's better on your
Yeah.
energy, definitely.
Yes. Oh, thanks for that added um, a question and answer, and I got so much value out of that. Thank you so much, Sarah, and I will like force myself to stop asking you more questions, and just give my last reminder to our audience, which is to please make sure you check the show notes because we will be dropping Sarah's links in there so you can connect with her, and maybe Sarah will have a free gift for you in there. We'll see, right?
Yes, I'm
So,
sure I can give a free gift for you guys. Of course I
yay.
can.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So until we connect next time, we, yeah, and oh, usually how I end is until we connect next time, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.